What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now with this video, we're going to be covering Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade, issue number 5. And this will be the finale. If you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now in the last issue, we left off with Mordred kind of creating the Ebony Crown, killing both Jax and Dane. It seems that Mordred has won. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we dive into issue number 5, we are picking up with Mordred, currently wearing the Ebony Crown, but there's a catch, because he has mixed magic and technology. Now throughout this series, Dane has been talking to kind of a therapist app, if you will. It's called Listener app. And this app is kind of for people to just air out their grievances. More or less, it's a private diary. And so all of their angry thoughts, all of their hatred, their frustration, it's all let out into this. And all of this anger, it feeds Mordred. It gives him more power. And now that the crown has been completed, he has a type of control over these individuals. Not necessarily controlling their actions, but activating their anger to a point that they lose control. And we see them start rioting in the streets. These mobs, this anger all building up and just feeding him more and more. And Mordred's plan is to build a new Camelot. Build it right here on this existing city. Using the magic that he has, we see buildings starting to transform. But while he's doing this, he hears one listener. And this listener catches his ear because it is Dane. It is the Black Knight, using the app one last time as he slowly dies. And Mordred can't help but laugh at this, believing Dane, use his last minutes to complain to a stupid app that his arch enemy created. And so feeling like he wants to have a laugh, he continues the audio. He listens to this as he transforms the city into Camelot. And while all of this is going on, we see a skeleton hand around the ebony sword. And it appears that flesh is starting to form on it. It appears that somebody is being resurrected. Mordred being too distracted, listening to Dane complain about how all of his life mistakes have led him to this point in time in his life. He doesn't see that Jax has come back to life wielding the Ebony Blade, and she attacks Mordred. Now, at this point, I know a lot of you guys have not only predicted this, but were worried that this might be the way the story is going. But I'm saying, let me finish this up. Let's get to the end of the comic, and we'll talk more about Jax in this moment. We'll see how you guys like the ending, and we'll go from there. So with Jax picking up the sword, she attacks Mordred. And as it stands in this moment, she has no idea how she is doing this, because it is supposed to be someone of Arthur's bloodline. Only someone of his bloodline can wield the sword. And so these two start fighting. Though I wouldn't call it much of a fight because Jax doesn't really know what she's doing. Being able to block and maybe throw some sword blows here and there. But at the end of the day, Mordred is skilled. He's talented, and right now the only reason he is thrown off his guard is because he hears Dane's little diary input, and it's completely distracting him. Trying to get the system to turn it off, but there seems to be some kind of issue. And so Mordred, he tries to end this, blasting Jax, knocking her back, but he can't help but listen to the voice on the audio, because that voice is talking to him in this moment. Because Dane knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew how all of this was going to play out. When he drank from the ebony chalice, it showed him all of this, and goes on to tell him that it's important he understands this very principle before they move forward. He's letting him know that Jax is his daughter. Because while Mordred went out of his way to track down every single male heir, he was too stuck in medieval ways to realize that a woman could inherit the sword. That it didn't necessarily have to be a male heir. And so Dane decided to give her a job. After he found out that this was his child, He was been waiting for the opportunity to let her know that he is her father. The thing is, he never knew about her. She had gotten pregnant and kind of disappeared, and then she ended up dying and never telling him about the daughter that he had. But right now, that daughter is about to whoop his butt. And of course, that's not actually the case, because Mordred blasts her with a huge blast of energy. Because at the end of the day, this is freaking Mordred, and she is completely unskilled and untrained in any of this. But luckily for her, this is where we see Elsa Bloodstone make her arrival, throwing the Bloodstone at Mordred and shooting it. But this doesn't kill him, it only slows him down, giving Jax, our new Black Knight, and Elsa Bloodstone the opportunity to make their attacks. And right now, Mordred, he is mad, he is ticked off, and he is about ready to let loose on them. And as he brings down the fires of hell on them, this is when we see Dane bringing him inward, bringing him to the wasteland. More or less, this is taking his subconscious mind, taking his consciousness, and taking it to a plane called the wasteland, all while his body is sitting up there completely defenseless, unable to do anything. So Dane is distracting him while the two up there are gonna beat the crap out of him. Now the wasteland, this is where Camelot's dirty little secrets get dumped. This is a place between death and restoration, kind of like a limbo, if you will. Now at this point, Mordred, he doesn't know what the heck is going on or what he is talking about. Not understanding how Dane could even have restoration, how he could come back to life. But he tells him because of the listener app, he was connected to the crown in a roundabout way. Even though it wasn't a physical direct connection, he was connected to it. And because of this, as Mordred dies, it brings Dane back to life. We see him come back to life wearing the ebony crown. And as Jax brings down her sword, that is exactly what happens. Mordred dissipates, and from the blinding light, the Black Knight is reborn. And that's what will bring this fight to an end. And it will pick us up 1 week later. Now 1 week later, we pick up with the Black Knight currently working on something. Elsa Bloodstone worried that Mordred might come back. But the Black Knight, he knows he's gonna come back. You know, he's Mordred. He always comes back in one way or another. And right now, Jax, she's kind of processing everything that's going on. She's processing that the Black Knight is her father, that she has the power to become the Black Knight. But all Dane really wants is to be able to communicate. He's not even sure if there's going to be a chance for them to have a relationship, but he wants her to know who he is and where he comes from. And this is where we get a glimpse of what he has been working on. He calls it the Ebon Siege, crafting the ebony items together. This is what the Chalice told him he needs to make. Now this shows him things. It takes him places. It can take you to the past, it can take you to other worlds, it can show you truths and lies. It can show you many different things. And as he sits upon this chair, this is where we see the arrival of Jax, storming in here, letting him know that she has made a decision. Now she's not really sure what to do when it comes to him being her father. She's not even sure if they could have that kind of family dynamic or relationship or anything like that. But the thing she has made up her mind on, her decision, is on being the Black Knight. Because as it stands, no matter the relationship, they are family, and they both are dealing with a lot of pain. And so instead of thrashing around trying to figure in what to do, if they should give in or if they should run away from this, that they should take the third option, a burden that they should share together. One of them wielding the ebony sword and the other seating in the seat. Because at the end of the day, the Black Knight is not a person. The Black Knight is an idea. And so this means that one of them can be sitting in the seat, the other can be out there swinging the sword. And then they can take turns. They can switch places. No one ever has to know the true identity of the Black Knight. And so you have two broken people making up one hero. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so I'm going to start this off by saying I was highly skeptical getting through this comic, because I was really worried that Jax was just going to be taking over as the Black Knight, and that they were going to kill Dane off. But as I get to the end, as I see what they decided to do and the route they decided to go, I'm not mad at it. I'm actually quite happy that they did it in this way, because you're giving the opportunity to pass the mantle without killing Dane. You're putting him more in a mentor state, but also allowing him the opportunity to still wield the Ebony Blade. And we have to admit, this has been a huge burden on Dane. He has been struggling with carrying this for so long. In fact, all the way back, every single Black Knight has struggled with this. And so if sharing that burden may be the answer to all of this, why not actually do it? So to me, this makes a lot of sense. With all that power, with all of that anger, splitting up the burden can only make the job just a little bit easier. Now, we can only speculate up to this point on why they decided to go this route in creating Jax to begin with. I can only assume that the Black Knight showing up in the Eternals MCU is going to end up being a female, and that's probably why they went this direction. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.